Well, shalom, shalom, family. How's everyone doing this night, this evening, this morning, whatever time frame, whatever time zone you're in? I want to thank you, welcome you to House Discipleship Institute. I'm your host, Elder Joshua Malara, bringing you an Intune with the Triune. And so today I was just thinking on the Sabbath message that we had, which is Kronos, Kairos, and Moedim, times and seasons. And there was a lot of scripture going in my head that was happening about how the majority of us in our walk, what happens is when we don't see progression according to how we want to see it through our own interpretation, through our own mindset, through our own perspective, we begin to fluctuate from the realm of Kronos and then Kairos. Now hear me out. We always fluctuate to say times and seasons, and that's where we're at right now, but there's a difference right here. Kronos in Greek is 5550, and it's a time, a long time, matters of men. Now hear me out. I want you really to hear this because this is what's been going on even with me personally. Sometimes I don't see progression in my own personal life, and then my soul would always like to dictate saying, see, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? And I tell myself, if you understand the Merismos notes and what we've gone through, the separation of soul and spirit, the dividing asunder as found in Hebrews 4:12, you're actually going to see how to separate your soul, learn to shut down your soul, and learn to speak from the realm where your spirit, the Father's Spirit, is speaking through you. And if you don't know what that means, then, well, I have newsflash from you. You can continue to subscribe to H2HDI for more content on how to understand and how to learn how to position yourself where you're able to be, I want to say in a realm where you're able to be adaptable and you're learning how to experience change. Therefore, when you wait for your change, you won't be ashamed of it, but you'll welcome it. You'll embrace what Yahuah has for you when you begin to ascend from the outer court realm into the holy court realm and into the Holy of Holies, where you were first with the Father before the foundations of the world. See, you were already with him. You just were made manifest on the day you were born. And that hence the word birth date or born date. So don't ever forget that you volunteered until the time appointed. The Father said, now son, now daughter, go. But yet you're not. The thing about today is that the world and everything we're in, it just causes us to veer off course and not see where the Father is leading us because the times and seasons are changing. We're beginning to see more manifestations of demonic realms opening, more manifestations of just carnality and beastly nature and things of the soul. Well, when you begin, you yourself that has come onto this page, that has come onto this channel, you're going to begin to see a growth. Something in you has caused you to come and watch this. Don't ever think that everything you've gone through is by coincidence. The Father orchestrated your steps. The steps of a righteous person are ordained by Yahuah. So, if you want to look for the scriptures of Kronos, you can go to Hebrews chapter 7, chapter 2, verse 7. Matthew's 25:19. And I'm going to continue on Matthew's chapter 2, but first I want to take you to Kairos. So when you begin to mature more, you begin to see more yourself where you understand, okay, there are times and seasons and matters for the man's world, meaning humanistic, people that don't want nothing of the Father. They want to stay in the outer court realm and stay babies, goo goo gaga, but they don't want to mature into the realm of the Holy of Holies or Holy Court. So when some of us who are called and have an ear to hear and eyes to see what the Father's saying, he's saying, okay, now you're coming up into Kairos, which is G2540. And it means it's a fitting season, a season for opportunity and season. Remember, it's good to be a seasoned son in the kingdom. Matthew's 13:30, Luke chapter 19, verse 44. And then when you begin to understand how the seasons work, where it's a time appointed when the Father speaks to you, because remember in Kairos, it's always an appointed time, a fitting time, a time or opportunity for you to hear the Father. When you begin to live a lifestyle of being kadosh, you're going to see yourself separated away from the things of the world, away from the things of man, and you're going to ascend even more to hear the Father saying, I your taste buds begin to change. And what I'm saying by that is you're going to want to hear him saying, Father, I'm devoting my time, my energy, my effort into hearing you. Right now, I don't want to play no games. I don't want to see no games. I just want to hear you. I set aside time away from my friends, away from my family, just to hear you this day. That's beginning to coming into your Kairos moment, a time and a season where you set yourself apart from the rest of the, soulish activities, and you begin to see yourself even more as a son. So you're changing your own diet, your own spiritual identity begins to change as you continue to grow and draw closer to Yahuah. Because Yahuah is looking for sons that are going to be drawing nigh thee unto him. Remember, you draw closer to Yahuah, and he will draw closer to you. The trick is, how long can you endure the process of staying in the realm where once he apprehends you and once he plays tag with you and he says, tag, you're it, then you come into a place, and I've experienced this, where he said, Father, why did you apprehend me? Why did you touch me? And now I can't go back to the past. I can't go into Kronos. I can only go into Kairos. I can go both back and forth, but my soul always causes me to go, back into Kairos moment. How come I gotta stop? How can I stop doing that? How can I stop going into Kronos and Kairos? That's the trick question. When you begin to see what the Father's showing you, and yes, we're people that we have to learn to stop saying the law's done away with. But guess what? The more you continue saying that, you're going to rob yourself away from the Baruch, or the blessing that was already found in Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, first was the Father, then the Son, the Aleph Tav. It was already hidden and embedded in you. You're just unveiling who it is and who you are. You're reaffirming who you are in the Psalms, in the Proverbs, in the Torah, in the prophetic writings, in the writings known as the Ketuvim, or as Hebrew we like to say, it's called the Tanakh. That's how you're seeing. You're unveiling your own identity. You're unveiling your own soul to see yourself as the image of the Father, who is Echad, one. Deuteronomy 6:4. He is one. He's unveiling who he is more in you. The more you begin to see yourself one with him. Yeshua said he considered it not strange nor robbery that he was Echad, one with the Father. And he was seated at the right hand of the Father. Now, I don't know about you, but because Yeshua lives and abides in you and I this day, you can see yourself as a son seated in heavenly places, seated at the right hand of the Father, and don't make a move, because the Father says, wait and sit right here until I make your enemies your footstool. So essentially, the enemies that you are sitting on, you're on the Bema seat, the Holy of Holies seat. You're sitting right there and you're not even touching the ground. The enemies are touching the ground. So you're in a place of not even, is it okay for me to say suspended animation? Yeah. Suspended animation, where you're one with the Father, your spirit. You're not touching carnality. You're not moving into a place of Kronos. You're not moving into a place of Kairos, but you already entered into the place called Moedim. Hebrews 41:50, meaning an appointed place, an appointed time, and a tent of meeting. That's what it means. It's amazing that we're coming into a time where we're coming into a place of a tent of meeting, where we get to see our own brothers, our own sisters, where we come jointly together. Isha said it on her previous Let Isha Speak. The anointing that cleanses as we begin to have unity with the brethren. Psalms 133. I'm not going to turn there, but I want you to subscribe to H2HDI more so you can see what Let Isha Speak, Prophet Virginia Gonzalez, was speaking about. And then don't forget our TerrorBites, which is hosted by Apostle Robert Gonzalez. He encourages you and equips you to be a threat, a terror, and a revenger to the kingdom of darkness. Now, the Moedim, Leviticus 23, verse 2, Leviticus 23, verse 4, and Psalms 104, verse 9. And let me read that very quick for all of us to hear, because I've been quoting the scriptures, but I need to hear it and put it into your ear gate. Psalms 104, verse 9 says, you have set a boundary that they may not pass over, that they may not return to cover the earth. And if you see right there, the boundary right there, that's what the Father's saying. There's a Moedim, a Kronos, and there's the Moedim, the time and season. He set you apart, so therefore enemies cannot cross over into the boundary of where you stand, Kadosh, one with the Father. You want to know the difference between you and I and the world? You're seated in heavenly places, waiting and hearing for what the Father's saying and what the Father's doing until you become to a position where once you hear him clearly and with distinction, and he says, "Go, my son, go, my daughter." He will plant you where you need to be planted. But some of the people you're going to have to deal with are going to be kings. Some of the people you're going to be dealing with are going to be false prophets. And Paul said, let there be heresies. Therefore, people can research what is the truth versus what is the false. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, listen to this. Now, the difference between the man's world, as I said before, in Kronos, which was the matters of men. Kronos, Matthew chapter 2, verse 7. And if you remember this, I'm not going to paraphrase. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I want you to keep in mind what's going on. See, man is always trying to look for a sign, but the Father says, I am the sign and the wonder. All my sons, all my daughters are representative, ambassadors of the kingdom, pointing you and I back to me, the Father, as one, Echad. That's what Yeshua was doing on the earth. He said, hey, I don't do any miracles. I don't do nothing like that. I can't say anything and I can't do anything until I first see my Father do it first, or speak what he says first. We can't do nothing without the Father. So listen to this. That's why even men, like verse 7. Then Herod, when he had secretly called the wise men, determined from them what time the star appeared. And remember, Herod was looking for a sign. He was looking for the Messiah, but he wasn't looking for the Messiah. He wanted to kill the Messiah. He wanted to kill the soon coming Son, the manifestation of he wanted to kill the manifestation of the presence of the Father, known as Emmanuel, before he was ever Jesus, before he was ever Yeshua, before he was ever Mashiach. He wanted to kill the manifested presence of Emmanuel. That's why, if you understand, and I said right there, sons who are living out of the Moedim realm, you're going to deal with kings, you're going to deal with false prophets, and you're going to deal with a lot of thick-headed people. But remember, you got to be dealt with first, because the battle is always in between your ears. Herod was looking for a sign. He says, where's the sign at? Where's the sign? I want to see him. I want to see the Star of David. I want to know where he's at. So therefore, he can kill the manifested presence of the Father. I'm telling you, man is always looking for a sign they think is something so spiritual, something so out there. But the Father said, no, point them to me. I'm the sign and the wonder. Stick in when you learn Kronos, you learn how to put it in your time. You learn Kairos, you're going to learn your own soul very well, and you're going to learn to be a master of your own soul and have a scripture to combat your soul and everything that is trying to impregnate false illusions within your own mind, false ideas and thoughts in your mind. You're going to learn to combat your own self with the scripture, but you're not going to learn as you mature and grow older to battle the enemy who's already defeated. Your job is to govern your own soul, and when you learn to govern your own soul, you can learn how to rule over a nation, rule over a city. That's why sons need to learn to rest in Moedim, so they don't become like Herod, looking out for a sign and a wonder from 3 wise men. And then what happens? He's still looking for a sign. He never left the Kronos to go into Moedim. He stayed in Kronos believing that there is a sign. He never ascended. So why are you still dealing with people in the outer court realm, in the Kronos realm, that don't want to ascend into the Moedim? Just food for thought. So I'm going to end it right here. Don't fluctuate with people that are going to cause you to stay in the realm of Kronos and Kairos, but challenge yourself to stay in the realm of Moedim, which is times and seasons of the Father pointed in Leviticus 23:2, Leviticus chapter 4, and Psalms 104, verse 9. So until we see each other again, just want to thank you, welcome you to H2HDI. Hit the like, hit the share button. Continue to subscribe for more content such as Let Isha Speak to come. We have also our TerrorBites to come also, hosted by both Apostle and Prophet Robert and Virginia Gonzalez, I challenge you, break bread with these people, because you will meet the Father according to the measure of where you wanted to go. The only thing Apostle Robert and Prophet Virginia Gonzalez are doing are just helping you to point you back to the Father, because they can't say anything and they can't do anything in their own power. They only point you to say, oh, here's the Father, oh, here's Yahuah, oh, here's His Son Yeshua. So until we see each other, and we have our Sabbath live stream. Every Saturday we break bread one another. We just begin to open up the scriptures, and this just appeared out of random to me. Kronos, Kairos, and Moedim. But everything doesn't appear out of random when you begin to see yourself seated in heavenly places. And when you begin to see yourself like that, guess what you can see? You can see the end from the beginning, and you can see yourself in the past, in the present, and in the future in a now moment. That's only in the Moedim. So until we see each other again, Baruch to you, Shema Israel, Yahuah, Elohenu Yahuah Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod, Makuto Lolom Vayed. Hear, O Israel, Yahuah is one. So until we see each other again, stay one with the Father. Yeshua's name. Shalom.